What if you spent years pouring your heart into something no one noticed would? You keep going? That's exactly where Jimmy Donaldson, better known as MrBeast, started. Today, he's a YouTube titan with over 360 million subscribers, jaw-dropping giveaways, and a reputation for rewriting the rules of online fame. But the road from a kid with a shaky webcam to a global phenomenon wasn't paved. With gold, it was littered with setbacks, sacrifices, and relentless hustle. Buckle up as we dive into the raw, unfiltered struggles that shaped MrBeast's rise from zero to success. A story that'll make you rethink what it takes to chase a dream. The early days. A dream no one saw picture. A 13-year-old Jimmy Donaldson in Greenville, North Carolina, hunched over a clunky laptop in his bedroom. It's 2012, and YouTube is still a wild frontier. With no money, no fancy gear, and a camera that could barely focus, Jimmy launched his channel under the handle MrBeast6000. His early videos? A mix of Minecraft Let's Plays, random skits, and quirky commentary on other YouTubers' wealth. They were scrappy, unpolished, and here's the kicker: barely watched. For years, his uploads scraped by with a handful of views, mostly from friends or family he'd begged to click. The struggle wasn't just low viewership. Jimmy was a self-taught creator in an era before YouTube tutorials were a dime. A dozen. Every video meant hours of trial and error, figuring out editing software, wrestling with terrible audio, and learning what made people click. He'd spend entire nights tweaking a single clip, only to wake up to 0 comments. Imagine pouring your soul into something and hearing crickets. Most would have quit. Jimmy didn't. Then, there was the personal toll. As a teen with Crohn's disease, a chronic condition that causes painful inflammation, Jimmy faced physical hurdles most creators never deal with. Fatigue and flare-ups could derail his plans, but he pushed through, filming when he could barely stand. His mom, Sue, later shared how their frequent moves and his health struggles made him withdrawn, channeling his energy into YouTube instead of a typical social life. While other kids were at parties, Jimmy was grinding, alone, chasing a dream no one else believed in. The grind. 5 years of failure. Fast forward to 2017. Jimmy's 18, and after 5 years on YouTube, he's still nowhere near success. His subscriber count hovers around 20. 0, a respectable number for a hobbyist, but a far cry from the big leagues. He's tried everything. Gaming videos, reaction clips, even roasting other creators. Nothing sticks. The algorithm ignores him, and his ad revenue? Maybe $1 a day, if he's lucky. To buy a decent microphone, he scrimped and saved for months. Money wasn't the only problem. Doubt was a constant shadow. Friends rolled their eyes when he talked about YouTube. Get a real job, they'd say. Even his mom, supportive but practical, gave him an ultimatum. Go to college or move out. Jimmy enrolled for 2 weeks before dropping out, betting everything on his channel. It was a bold move and a lonely one. He later tweeted about those days, saying he told his mom he'd rather be poor than do anything besides YouTube. That's not just passion. That's defiance in the face of everyone telling you you're wasting your life. The grind was brutal. Jimmy wasn't just making video. She was studying YouTube like a science. He'd analyze trending channels, dissect their thumbnails, and obsess over titles. Nights blurred into mornings as he watched hours of content to crack the commentary. Algorithms code. He wasn't chasing fame for clout. He wanted to master the game. But mastery doesn't come quick. For every genius idea he had, there were dozens that flopped. Videos he spent days on would get 200 views. Equipment failed. Ideas fizzled. And still, he uploaded. Then came the haters. Early YouTube was a rough place, and Jimmy's quirky style made him a target. Trolls flooded his comments with insults, mocking his voice, his looks, his hustle. He'd read every comment, letting the negativity sink in. Most creators would have burned out. Jimmy? He turned it into fuel. He later said those early haters taught him to ignore the noise and focus on what mattered. The work. The turning point. Counting to 100. 0. In January 2017, Jimmy uploaded a video that changed everything. I counted to 100. 0. It sounds absurd just him counting out loud for 40 hours straight. But that absurdity was the spark. He sat in his room, red-eyed and hoarse, counting from 1 to 100, 0 while his mom brought him water to keep going. The video wasn't flashy, no crazy effects, No big budget, just raw, unfiltered commitment. It took months to gain traction, but when it did, it exploded. By mid-2017, it had millions of views. Why? Because it was unlike anything else. People were mesmerized by the sheer audacity who spends 40 hours counting for strangers online. The video wasn't just content, it was a statement. Jimmy was willing to do what no one else would. His subscriber count shot past 100-0, then 500-0. The algorithm finally noticed him. But success didn't mean smooth sailing. With attention came pressure. Fans wanted more, and Jimmy had to deliver without the budget or team of bigger creators. He doubled down, churning out stunts like reading every word in the dictionary or saying, PewDiePie, 100,000 times. Each video pushed him to his physical and mental limits. He wasn't eating right, barely sleeping, and his crones flared up under the stress. Yet he kept going, reinvesting every penny of ad revenue into his channel. Better cameras, wilder ideas, anything to keep the momentum. Scaling up, the price of ambition. By 2018, MrBeast was a name. His videos like giving 10-0 to a homeless man or tipping waitresses thousands were redefining YouTube. Philanthropy. But scaling up brought new struggles. Bigger videos meant bigger costs. A single stunt could burn through 50-0, and ad revenue wasn't always enough. Jimmy leaned on sponsorships, but brands were skeptical of his wild ideas. He'd pitch for hours, only to get ghosted. To fund his vision, he poured his savings into videos, sometimes filming on credit card debt. Then there was the team. Jimmy couldn't do it alone anymore, so he hired childhood friends to help. But managing people was a crash course in chaos. Some didn't get his vision. Others clashed over creative control. Early editors like Matt Turner later claimed they faced verbal abuse or weren't credited properly, though Jimmy's camp disputed this. Either way, building a team meant navigating drama, egos, and the growing pains of a scrappy startup. The biggest hurdle? Himself. Jimmy's obsession with the best video possible was a double-edged sword. He'd scrap entire shoots if they weren't perfect, wasting days and dollars. He'd lie awake, haunted by ideas that didn't land. In a 2025 podcast, he admitted to crying over the pressure, saying, "I work every hour my eyes are awake." Fame amplified everything. By 2019, he was getting death threats 5-0 by his count. "We weren't meant to handle this kind of feedback," he said. "Most people would crack." Jimmy built thicker skin. His personal life took a hit too. As an introvert, he struggled to balance work and relationships. His romance with Maddie Spadell fizzled by 2022, partly because YouTube consumed him. Friends drifted as he prioritized videos over hangouts. Even his engagement to Thea Boyson in 2025 came with guilt, admitted, struggling to be present for her. Success was starting to feel like a cage. The empire, triumph and turmoil. By 2020, MrBeast was unstoppable. Videos like his real-life Squid Game with a 456.0 prize racked up hundreds of millions of views. He launched MrBeast Burger, Feastables, and Beast Philanthropy, turning his channel into a brand. But empires come with enemies. Critics called his philanthropy charity porn, accusing him of exploiting poverty for clicks. Jimmy fired back, saying every dollar from Beast Philanthropy went to causes like building wells in Africa or renovating hospitals. Still, the noise stung. Legal battles piled on. In 2023, he sued virtual dining concepts over MrBeast Burger's poor quality, claiming it hurt his reputation. They countersued for $100 million, alleging he sabotaged the deal. Then came Beast Games, his 2024 Amazon reality show. With 1-0 contestants and a $5 million prize, it was his biggest gamble yet. But production was a nightmare. Contestants claimed they were denied food, water, and meds, with some hospitalized. A class action lawsuit followed, alleging mistreatment. Jimmy, once untouchable, was now a lightning rod. Mental health became his keenest struggle. In 2025, he told the Diary of a CEO podcast he'd sidelined his well-being for success. "If I prioritized my mental health, I wouldn't be where I am," he said, but admitted the cost. Burnout, isolation, and moments of feeling like a zoo animal. Workplace experts warned his grindset was unsustainable, risking bad decisions or collapse. Yet Jimmy shrugged it off, saying, This is the life I chose. The lesson: grit over glory. So, what's the real story of MrBeast's rise? It's not just viral stunts or big checks. It's a kid who stared down failure for years and kept swinging. Jimmy didn't have rich parents, elite gear, or a roadmap. He had grit, obsession, and a willingness to learn from every flop. His crones didn't stop him. Haters didn't break him. Even when fame turned sour with lawsuits, trolls, and sleepless night, she doubled down on his mission. Make the best content possible. The numbers are staggering: 360 million subscribers, 700 million a year, billions of views. But the struggles behind them are human. Jimmy's story isn't about luck. It's about betting on yourself when no one else will. He turned nobody into somebody by outworking everyone else, even when it hurt. And yeah, he's made mistakes. Some say he's reckless. Others say he's a genius. Maybe he's both. What's next for MrBeast? He's hinted at bigger projects, maybe even stepping back to breathe. But one thing's clear: his journey from zero to hero isn't just a YouTube saga. It's a masterclass in Nebula First Say, resilience. So, the next time you're stuck, feeling like your dreams are going nowhere, remember Jimmy counting to 100, 0 in his bedroom. If he could keep going, so can you.